Hello, good morning, dear listeners. My name is Ironbound Ghost, and it's the them him for feel free to call me Ghost or Ghosty. Ironbound Ghost. Subtitles, please. Hope you've had a good week so far, or if you haven't, hope it started turning around for you with the onset of the weekend, and if not, hope everything started to proceed in at least a generally upward trajectory from here. That is what we all deserve, after all. We're gonna start off here today with our reading recommendations. Fanfiction Friday. Definitely Friday. Where I bring you, dear listeners, the recommendation of one random fanfic that I've read at some point in the past. Without rhyme or reason. And today's recommendation is... I love how I didn't have that file open. Today's recommendation is What Life Would Have Been Like by Shadow in Time on Archive of Our Own. This is a Leverage fic. It's not very long. It's so I don't know how familiar you are with the Leverage series, but essentially it's it's the team of thieves does Robin Hood things sort of deal. Parker, the team's more break-in oriented thief, you might say, tends to get a little too immersed in her character whenever the team needs to infiltrate colleges and other similar fragments of ordinary life. And Hardison, the team's hacker, finally gets to speak with her about that and understand why. And it's just a short character examination, really. Just a moment that takes you to sit with what might be going on in Parker's head and her upbringing, based on the amounts that were given in the show. And I like this story just because it's one of those ideas that you kind of almost expect if you think about it briefly, and which could be, obviously unpacked in a few different ways, but this is just how this particular author chose to unpack it. And I think that's nice to look at. I like looking at what a variety of different people decide to do with ideas that on their surface are fairly straightforward. And again, the title is What Life Would Have Been Like by Shadow in Time. That's with no spaces. And again, the details will be in the description of the VOD on YouTube. I say, like someone who definitely still needs to set up dual streaming. And so if you're interested, feel free to stop by there and take a look. Now back to the main content of the day. So do not save that. I did not make any changes to that. So I was thinking, because I have, obviously my VODs aren't like unseemly long, and I stream only at, once a week on a good week at the moment. I was thinking that I could try to essentially restream, rapid fire restream all of the VODs to YouTube, just to get them onto the main channel, and have the VODs channel sleep in the void, possibly. And then start dual streaming from there. Obviously, that's going to take some setup, but if I really just sit down, get everything set up on the computer that's not the one that this is currently on. I know I've been saying for several months now that I need to move everything over, and it has not happened yet, but I have something resembling an opportunity / impetus to do that now. So I should probably do that before it continues to become even further of an entanglement. So I don't know when that's gonna happen. I'll make a tweet about it if I do. And everything will of course be clearly marked that this is rebroadcast and what have you. The accounts on YouTube are linked, so it should be fine. Yeah, because the VODs have, they've been there, they have been briefly examined, but having everything centralized uh, would be, obviously a good thing. So, that is the plan sometime in the near future, and by rapid fire restream them, I mean probably just keep it to one a day, and at like a normal time, so there's like the possibility that someone might take interest if they're looking for something to watch, but otherwise uh like not gonna be too fussed about lining them up in any particular fashion until we get obviously to the actual dual streaming. For the actual dual streaming, something I'm going to actually no, even without the dual streaming, I'm gonna want to figure out a way to just see, there comes a question, and if you have any thoughts on this, do feel free to let me know. But I'm thinking, obviously, for the dual streaming, I'm gonna want to have two separate chat boxes, but definitely have both chats visible. What I'm thinking is to... I'm really tempted to just rotate myself slightly, but that would be very silly. The other option would be to split the chat box at the top vertically in half, and just have only a few messages each showing up. But as a viewer, I'm not a huge fan of that small of a chat box. Necessarily, just because some messages get long, and even if you keep the font size small, it can occasionally be an issue. Although also, I haven't figured out what people do to make things like the badges and the different colors show up completely correctly. So, at some point I need to figure that out, because I know people do it. That will be that one's a problem for Google, because I guarantee that's a solved problem that's well documented somewhere that I just didn't find and didn't come back to the first time. But another option is to extend the chat box down below slightly, so it overlaps my horns, and then just split the chat box in half again. So each line will have a little bit of time being completely clear, and then obviously one half or another will be obstructed. And I think, and obviously, since YouTube would be the automatic VOD thing, and I'd obviously be trying very hard to do things that don't get the VOD requiring editing, it would be reasonable for the YouTube chat to be the slightly obstructed one. But at the same time, as I said, I'm trying to do things that would be essentially how I'd want to consume them as a viewer, and I prefer an unobstructed chat. So another option is to put a separate chat box in the corner where sometimes the Halloween decorations live. Just, tape another sticky note to the screen. And, at some point I will probably want to rework this background a little bit, or at least have some alternatives. I keep getting a backlog of attempting to draw things and being galvanized to do that, and then stopping and whatnot. So I should, put a little bit of persistent effort into that, but the simple solution for this in specific is probably just add an additional chat box, even a small one. Could even use the same tape as the title tape that's currently on the bottom, right? So those are what I'm thinking of for the dual streaming thing. But for actually the rebroadcast, I'm not sure if I would want to add an additional on-screen indicator of of chat or that it's a rebroadcast. I think in this specific case, the best thing to do, since we'd be working backward, and I know where all the assets obviously historically were, if I double check them, the thing to do might just be stick it in the bottom, somewhere in the bottom corner, in the bottom right corner. It overlaps a little bit with the notifications that show up, so I want to check what size that shows up on screen. But that's an option. I'm not sure about it. I'm not sure about it. So we'll see. Since obviously I could leave the contents of the VOD channel as they exist, up, and maybe just unlist them and put them in a playlist and have them be, this is the unedited version. That way, if you really want to look at the version that does not have YouTube chat in it, and maybe doesn't have a, like, I don't know, rebroadcast label stuck to the side of the screen or something, I'm not sure, then you go look at that one. I think that's probably a pretty reasonable way to handle it. Like I said, that's just something I'll be thinking about. If you have any suggestions, feel free to let me know. But I think we've dilly-dallied a bit long now, so we're going to get started with our plan here today, which is just Elden Ring, kind of shorter stream today, only about 2 hours, I would assume. And the plan is just to take a look at the Great Runes that are unactualized and see, am I capable of accessing their powers now? Is that something I can pursue, or is it not? And if it's, like, most immediately not, like, I'm going to go look at them, and then I'm going to be looking things up on my phone, and then we're going to, you know, take a field trip or whatever. And if we find we really can't do any of that, then we're probably going to, I mean, I guess we're going to start, let's actually start this. Let's start this off, and we'll think about the question as we encounter it, because obviously it is totally possible that we will immediately be confronted with being able to do neither of those. Because I think we've just got 2, right? But on the other hand, if we're further along when we discover it's not feasible... What do you mean we're not signed in? We're gonna stay offline for now, because I don't know what's going on there. Right. We were in here debating, thinking of freeing the Dung Eater, because heaven knows everything is already extra on fire. Yeah, I guess we can do that if we don't, have any particular insight about the Great Runes thing. Okay, so what do we have that isn't used yet? That might just be an end thing, but I'll look that up as well. So, we've first got Mending Rune of the Death Prince. Lovely. Elden Ring. Mending Rune of the Death Prince. What do we do about it? We're wicked. Its only effect is to alter the ending of the game. Great, I'm not reading the rest of that. I don't need to know what having that in my inventory tells me. Elden Ring iCard. Great Rune. Okay. Cool. Restores 80 HP plus 7% of your total HP upon defeating enemies. Huh. Not excessively useful for what I need, but I would like it to be an option at least. Now, we have the Great Rune itself. You need to bring it to the Divine Tower of West Altus which is found through the sealed tunnel. Tower is not accessible until your encounter with Rykard is defeated. Before his defeat, the doors to the tower will be locked. The Divine Tower of West Altus is found in the capital outskirts, between Altus Plateau and Leyndell. Okay, I need to look at a map for this. Do explain to me. Altus... Capital outskirts between Altus Plateau and Leyndell. Capital outskirts. Hello? Hello? I assume it's Hero's Grave, Altus Tunnel. I do not need ads. Illusory walls in the sealed tunnel. Okay, where is the sealed tunnel? Hold on. Map. Sealed tunnel. Interesting. Path is linear, no way to miss it. Illusory walls are at the end of each new area. Okay, interesting. Descending to the lower levels, there's an Onyx Lord. There's a linear path. Side of Grace, the entrance to Divine Tower of West Altus. It will be ascending, and then you go up. I see. I guess this is where we'll start then. We are here. We are inside. Yes. Okay. Many miners, like this parts were working. There's goods, that's fine. Okay, well, let's try to navigate this as we are. And if we inevitably begin to have issues with this, then we shall... Hello? Oh, I totally forgot how we need to fight these. Was it setting them on fire? I am briefly convinced that it involves setting them on fire. But... I may be mistaken. We'll try it on the next one, I suppose. Hi. Okay. The elevators. Jumping down, slowly through the wall. Okay, so the problem is that it's super unclear Oh. Okay. That sure was an illusory wall, yes. Alright. I was like, how do we know we haven't opened it up already in some fashion? We certainly haven't opened up this one. Okay, so you could hop down to that. I actually do want to do the hop all the way down just to grab the resources, even if there's stuff that's super cheap to get. get now. It's obviously... It is obviously nice. To be able to get it on your own. Yeah. 5's good. Very dangerous parkour, though. Very exciting. Right. Down, 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 go. Oh. That is more straightforward than I was expecting. I was expecting much less straightforward. Oh, okay. Well, it says it's linear and that you can't get lost, so... Oh. Hello? Alright. Right. There we go. There are, of course, more. Oh, the goods of the fallen. Oh. Hello there. Hello? Okay. That is an unfortunate byproduct of playing the game this way. Fellows that would pose little to no threat in terms of my ability to do enough damage to get the... Oh! Hi! Hello? I mean, if you're not gonna attack me while I do this... I will just keep doing it. Alright. I did not know you could stagger those. Or, I assume that's what just occurred. Alright, I need to check back there to see if one of the walls... That is not what I wanted, but okay. Alright. Hello? Buddy, old pal. You do not have enough of a line of sight. There we go. Okay, I'm gonna dispense with the torch for the moment on the grounds of heavy, mostly. Love that that didn't show up when we was... Homie. My guy. My dude and fellow. Okay. Okay. Such things as that have definitely infiltrated my vocabulary. By the by. Okay, I want to grab stuff at the bottom. But let's... Ooh, pickle foulfoot. Let's grab everything that's up first. Love how I didn't notice this fellow until just now, but okay. Hi? Hello? This is a you can hop down but you cannot get back up sort of situation. We're gonna come back to that, because it's entirely possible it's more conventionally accessible from over here. In fact, it looks like it almost certainly is more conventionally accessible from over here. Anyone else down on the bottom? Kinda. Anyone else? Just that one feller. I mean... Well, that's interesting. What I'm perhaps hearing is the only way forward might actually be... Okay, well... Could have been better, but nothing set me on fire, so you know, that's, fine. Pretty much as expected. Those are actual walls. It did say it being linear, so I'd assume it actually means when we head down... Oh, that is unfortunate. I didn't see this. But of course, that's only going to be opened up if you, lure the, what do you call them? The Iron Maiden over there. Alright. Well, we can come back to check on that in a moment. Is it worth it? Alpha, blah blah blah. There's a slumber in the wall. Items, blah blah blah. Corpses. None of that is helpful. Okay, there are smithing 6s in there. Those are a good resource, but I can buy those. I would rather spend the time on the whole farming thing than I would trying to lure that into position. Sorry, not sorry, as it were. Did we just hop down there? Yeah, we just hopped down. In a vaguely convenient fashion. Okay. Like, that would be very good if I did not have the bell bearings. I think I am actually currently still missing some bell bearings. But, not. Can I pick that up? Hello? Okay. Well, that was exciting. I appreciate not dying. Oh, there's another one. I would have admittedly also appreciated it being a little less exciting. But I understand. Sometimes the excitement just comes to you, and everything else in the vicinity. Can I, like, shoot those? Is that an option? Great. Because I don't want to accidentally run into one when inevitably fleeing for my life. Just on a personal level. Oh, I don't like that either. This whole place is wired to explode with great enthusiasm. Exceptional enthusiasm, in fact. So much enthusiasm. I would like a little less enthusiasm. Myself. Okay. Well, we've gotten rid of what seems to be all the particularly enthusiastic explosives. Old thing. Okay, is that because you died with something biting you? Or you died because this fell on your head? A little bit unclear, I should think. Alright. Actually, call me just checking. Just wanted to be sure there wasn't another explosive back there. I appreciate being told you can't get lost. Because I'm exactly the kind of person who ought to be concerned about getting lost in that fashion. Oh, lovely. That's bait. I think. I will check. That looks suspiciously like bait. There's a wall, we can drop down. Sniffing stone. Oh, there are explosives at the bottom. Lovely. That's going to be later me's problem, I think. In this case, I think later. How are you meant to get to that exactly? You meant to jump for it. I'm not going to. No. Am I understanding that there were some explosive fellas down there? And that I may be served. I'm making them. Okay. There are a few more. Definitely saw. Oh, several more. Love that for us. Love that for us. I think that's it, though. I shall hope. Not a huge fan of the mysterious noises in the background either, but I should theoretically do enough damage to deal with most anything in this area. I say with great confidence. Oh, what now? What's this supposed to be? The sort of place where it's not at all clear that that's a normal wall. Just checking. That's presumably meant to imply some kind of digging was to be there. Oh fuck. On fire. One of us will land that. It doesn't really matter which. Well, that was exciting. Probably could have done that without help, but, you know, it's less tedious when there's help. How exciting. Is there anything we can loot from the walls here? Just as a matter of habit, you understand. Okay, and that's the way back up. But what's here? Oh, this... Okay, yeah, no, that makes sense. This is the way to the tower. And this wall would have been blocked before, and that's why it needed a way up. Oh. Every day in this game, we are confronted by... Or I guess... I don't know if this would have been blocked, because it could just have the front door sealed. Anyway, every day in this game we're confronted by the consequences of our and everyone else's actions, frankly. It's like, hey... One does not immediately think, oh yeah, we're gonna burn down the brambles stopping us from getting into the tree. Does not immediately correspond to, we are going to whatever that is. That looks like it should have physics and allow you to walk on it, but my wager is that it's either a death plane or it's just actually too not physically there. So, hi. Oh, nice. So based on the precedent of this, I kind of want to see if there's any other things that look like they're clearly going to let me into one of these towers. What does the map say? Okay, so that one's there. The other one we'd want is here. So you'd think the Forbidden Lands... Because the separation's not that far, right? So you'd think somewhere up there would be the way in. I'll poke around a little. Perhaps it is. We still haven't sorted what's over there or some of the other land masses, for that matter. But here we are. Oh, hi? Just the shadowy sands of time, I suppose. Well, up we go. Where we stop, we'll find out next time, or in about 30 seconds, I suppose. Lovely view of everything being on fire. Wonderful. Wonderful view. So then, again, good that they put their return panel up there. Or we'd be mighty troubled. I imagine there's one at the bottom, we just didn't notice. And of course, we get sight frames. Super on fire. So sorry. I should look into... Now that I've actually gotten further, that's actually an interesting thing. So, like, previously, you know, since well before I actually played through this completely, I have done the thing that I do, which is read crossover fanfiction of things that I know not of. So, naturally, the games like this, and Bloodborne, and Dark Souls, with the basic premise of your endgame character has weird roles and powers that make them bizarre in other settings, or dropping other people into this setting, their initial part of the journey will be fairly straightforward. I've read a couple of those, but naturally, avoiding both the things that would have great detail on the middle bits, which would have, of course, at that time have been spoilers, and also probably not interesting if I weren't in some way invested, or characters taken from the middle of their journey, which, again, I wouldn't necessarily have been invested. I now find myself interested to know if anyone has written stories taking place in those versions of the settings, because obviously there's a great instinct to either drop people in at the very start where they can build their own journey, and many people, putter out eventually with that, or take people from the very end when they're seated the idea of a character in their head who could go through all that, or it's just the player's, head tarnished. In my case, a fool in shoes, as ever. A fool in shoes, as ever. Hi. No mysterious corpse up here either. Just Rekkard's Great Rune restored. And two very mummified, petrified, decayed fingers, which is super weird. One must wonder at the fact, surely with the classic FromSoft, message, tri-finger, but bold. Surely when they were coming up with the 2 fingers and the 3 fingers and whatnot, they knew what they were getting themselves into. Surely. A great rune of the Shard-bearer Rakkard. Its blessing restores HP upon defeating enemies. Rakkard was amongst the children of Rennala and Radagon, who became demigodic stepchildren after Radagon's union with Queen Marika. But Rakkard fed himself to the blasphemous serpent, great rune and all, and then took it over partially, which I suppose is a somewhat interesting example of the whole don't turn into a giant snake, or don't absorb an energy field larger than your head. In this case, the serpent did the absorbing and fell to the person. Quite an opposite sort of situation than normal. Onyx Lord's Greatsword. With Onyx Lord's Repulsion. Greatsword forged from the golden-hued meteoric ore. The blade conceals gravity-manipulating magic. A weapon unique to the Onyx Lords, a race of ancients with skin of stone who were said to have risen to life when a meteor struck long ago. Unique skill, Onyx Lord's Repulsion. Thrust the armament into the ground to create a gravity well. In addition to dealing damage, this attack sends enemies flying away. That is presumably what the black hole-looking thing was. Nothing more to be done up here, I think, unless someone's left any interesting messages, but no, I think mostly all that there is to gaze upon the extremely on-fire Erdtree, and the modestly on-fire surroundings, which is a little bit awkward. Kind of interested if anyone's done an examination of not necessarily a single hypothetical tarnished, but just, I guess hypothetical tarnished in general. Because obviously there are a lot of endings. Like in Bloodborne, obviously there's really only 3, right? To wake, and to sleep, and to become, spoilers, the moon. Sort of. Right. So to look upon each of those with some semblance of understanding as to what they entail is, as an examination of any one character that you put in that situation, or that you make up for that situation, you can examine them as archetypes fairly clearly. Someone who's choosing to return to their own life, kind of. or someone who's choosing to take up a burden and hold on to the things that they found because whatever came before is either still lost to them or would continue to be lost to them or something else, or isn't worth returning to because of this reason or that. And then in the final case, of course, there's a lot of interesting things that you might want to do with suddenly being that. And you can examine that in many ways, even without the assumption that you will, even without the character knowing that will be their end. Dealing with that kind of thing is its own genre altogether, right? But here, so obviously I have not seen the variety of endings. I know of some of them, and I know the way they are referred to by name, but their contents will remain unknown to me until I go through them. But I know there's something about the Frenzied Flame, and there's something about an ending that involves Ranni, and there's something going on with the Dung Eater, which I presume affects an ending, and then there's whatever's going on with the Destined Death, and then I assume there's an ending that involves none of these things, because you could skip a, I think, the Ranni, if I'm not mistaken, you can skip like, Ranni's stuff going on, right? And then obviously you can skip being on fire, which I almost did. And then you can definitely skip everything going on with Fia. And then you could definitely skip the Dung Eater, which I have thus far done. So, do some of those converge upon an ending? Or are those all just distinct states? And I wonder if anyone's done any of those, I guess, either analyses or just stories that address the genre the character becomes upon reaching any of those endings. And then correspondingly, because I come from the readings of the fan fictions in the early 2000s, I wonder if anyone's done any classic get sent back in time to redo the hero's journey again stories, which have them reflecting upon whatever outcome happened in that first timeline, and essentially New Game Plus, or even just, normal game, and redo it all. Yeah, I'm fumbling with the button on this controller, ignore that. I don't know. Something to look into now that I'm this close to the end of the base playthrough. Looks like there aren't. Right, I'm offline. My brain I keep looking for messages. That's why I'm fumbling around here. I'm offline. I'm a fool. Greetings, the sentient microwave. We are going around today, grabbing all of the random great runes that we have previously not done anything with. So I'm just going through the ones in my pockets and then looking them up, and then we're going on a little field trip. Hope your week has been going reasonably, and if not, at least hope it will begin so. Oh, new game? What about? Oh god, Great Rune is the next one. At least these ones will be spelled easily. Okay, blah blah blah. We have it. To make it usable. I would like less ads. Divine Power of East Altus after the Forbidden Lands elevator to the capital outskirts. Gonna have to take a look at that. Expedition 33! That is where it is at these days. I'm chugging along through that steadily, of course. But definitely well worth it. You planning to go through it all at once, or take your time with it, or what you thinking? What can I do here? Katrina, Night Sword, Pockets, Godslayer's Great Sword. keeping that on here, because if it's Black Flame, we are not really doing any gravity magic, even, I don't know, it's cool, but it's not that cool. Haven't touched it, waiting till PC upgrade to play. Understandable, understandable. It looks really, really nice, even on, you know, PlayStation Plus 720p television, which is what I am seeing everything in, so I've no doubt with, you know, like, particularly well-to-do setup, it will make quite the impression. Okay. Why is that still in my inventory? That needs to go away. Not doing anything with that, even though it's neat. That's fine. Okay. Forbidden Lands elevator in the capital outskirts. Do forgive me. Forbidden Lands. Okay. So, blah, more health. My base figure is what is my base figure? I think it's just been sitting at 10 the whole time. Yeah? Yeah. So actually I would not get any benefit out of using this one, but I still want it. Oh, learning to code? To any particular end, or just because it seems interesting? It's always a good skill to have. I'm not looking for videos. Oh, great computer. I'm looking for where to get into this building. 6 Divine Tower, blah blah blah. How to reach it, thank you. Forbidden Lands elevator. Up there, go up the elevator and leave it by the southern exit. Interesting. Okay. Oh, making a Minecraft mod. Very neat. Very neat. Oh, what the hell is that? Let's go loot the elevator, I guess. Okay, I guess we're taking several more trips. Oh, that's hilarious. That is not what I meant to do. Very exciting. Let's try that again. Let's try that again. Huh. I must be looking at... What's the correct direction? Come on now. Hello? Oh. It's right there. Ooh. Okay, we'll be doing this for a couple of seconds while I try and figure out the appropriate way to make that jump. Good morning, Justice Design. We are currently going through the path to just unlock these great runes, or what do you call it? Awaken them, or whatever. Well, at the moment I'm being distracted by the fact this elevator has a mysterious door on the side that I'm trying to jump through, and understandably this isn't... That's not what I wanted to do, but good job. let me find... Hello? It's really low down. Am I just looking at the wrong place? Come on now. Come on now. Come on. No? Okay. Hold on. Can I see it? Okay, I can see it here. It's just straight across. There we go. Hi? Official's attire. What in the... Hello? It's not like the door was locked. Hello? Blade of Calling. Sorry about that. What in the... Extremely dirty windows? Gotta be real, this looks like it would have been a pretty nice office. Although I'm a little concerned about the intended way down, or if you were just expected to catch the lift only when other people were coming through. That's a bit... Okay, what's official's attire? Grubby blue robe worn by magisterial officials to carry out their grim tasks. Surveillance, executions, gruesome rituals, the darkest duties drive the wheels of mankind. Yeah, okay, that makes the position of this particular room make sense. You would in fact not want it to be excessively accessible. Or something. Although, I suppose it would encourage people passing by being weird. I don't know. Blade of Calling. Dagger given to one who set out on a journey to fulfill her duty long ago. The power of its former owner, the Kindling Maiden, is still apparent. The one who walks alongside Flame shall one day meet the road of destined death. Huh. Unique skill, Blade of Gold. Leap into the air, charging the armament with golden flames that are shot out at the enemy as a single blade-like projectile inflicts holy damage. Hey. I see we have an equivalent. It indeed seems to be so. Blade of Death and Blade of Gold. That's cool as shit. Does this thing do holy damage aside from when we blast people in the face with it? So Black Knife is the one that was used to assassinate literally everyone, right? Dagger once belonging to one of the assassins who murdered Godwyn the Goldwyn on the night of Black Knives, and presumably everyone else. Ritual performed on the oddly mistaken blade, imbued it with the power of stolen rune of death. Blah blah blah. Blade-like projectile, okay. Dagger given to one who set out on a journey to fulfill her duty long ago. The power of its former owner, the Kindling Maiden, is still apparent. Forgive my presumption, but that seems awfully like, you know, a little like what Melena's whole thing about everything. I mean, she is responsible for, like, half of the fire going on here, at least. Right? It wouldn't be untoward to think this seems very likely. Maybe not. Maybe because this is holy fire and not everything is really fucking on fire. I assume taken into full context, it would be more apparent to whom this might refer. But, well, we'll come back to that, and we're also gonna level that up suitably when we head back after this. Meanwhile, I'm just gonna spy sitting there being dead. Alright. Can we not die? Hey, nice. Okay, now we've got to actually ride the elevator up like a person who can ride an elevator. At some point, maybe compare the robes with what she's wearing, or still wearing, or variation. Maybe? I think she was wearing green, though, right? Perhaps I'm mistaken. But I always associate, my brain's associating her with wearing green. And obviously, right now, she is super combusted. So, like, we cannot, in fact, make a direct comparison, whether this is just a green version of the same equipment, or what, but somehow I do not think we shall make her acquaintance again unless something very weird happens. Which, I mean, it could, because God only knows, but... Leave the elevator tower by the southern exit. Very well. Here is the south. Yeah, she did set everything on fire a lot. Oh. Did I just totally ignore this the last time I was here? I went looking for a way to get this to this tower. Did I just completely ignore this whole... Excuse me. Past me... You're a blithering idiot sometimes. Or possibly, unless this entire section just didn't exist last time I was here. But, like, I could swear that it might have? Surely. Like, okay. You gonna try and murder me in the face? Oh, what the hell is this? Thanks, I hate it. Alright, stab me. Were you the dude that we were just watching? You say that, but this is quite novel. Homie in Christ. This is a little exciting. Oh boy. Okay, yeah, no. We're gonna have a different summon when we come in here next. Damage is not the issue here. Stop being locked on. How big is this fucking arena? Try to do it, but this sucks. too far. Okay. This sucks. This sucks. This sucks. Fuck off. Keep taking chip damage. Please. Leave me. Fuck off. Fuck right off. What am I supposed to do with this? Okay, not that. Okay, no. That was exciting. If it were an infinite room, I'd be more confident in running away. As it is, I think I might run off a cliff if I do that. Let's summon someone who is a better distraction. Like, that was a lot. Can we... Okay, no, we just have to go up here. That was exciting. Let's... Okay, well, yeah, not having that active would help. Latenna is good for areas where you can manage space a little bit better. And manage aggro a little bit better. There are 2 of you. We need someone a little bit more active, maybe. I'm not sure. We will try... with these 2 first. That was very exciting. I'd say let's not do it again, but in a very literal sense. Let's try that again right now. Oh boy. Okay. Through the south, then. We are gonna send this back down on the chance that we have to do this a second time. Do not my face. Please and thank you. Nope, that's my bad. That's my bad. Okay, we're leaving. Boy, fuck off. Respectfully fuck off. am very willing to let not me. Where's the other one? Where's the other one? Where's the other one? Okay, much more mana. Thank you for keeping the aggro off of my face. Omen Killer Rolo. Do tell. That was more exciting than I was expecting, but I probably should have expected excitement. That was a cool void, though. If I had more HP, I kind of would have wanted to roam around a little bit. Summon Spirit of Omen Killer Rolo. Ashen remains in which spirits yet dwell, used to summon the Spirit of Omen Killer Rolo. Spirit of Rolo, known as the first Omen Killer. Once a famous perfumer, Rolo imbibed a physic to rid himself of emotion, thus enabling him to enact his nightmarish labor, hunting the Omen. Huh. Interesting. Yes, indeed. Alright, that was something. Let us put away the contents of our pockets and head up the tower. One might even say that he will be gold. Moog is an omen, I believe, yeah. There's an omen hymn and the not one. I think there are others classed as omens that are subject to similar, I don't know, similar properties. Indeed. So they were. Just making sure everything's somewhat away. Oh, we had the really huge shield, which there is no way that I will be using. Is it cool? Yes. Is it heavier than any other piece of equipment in my possession? Also yes. Now we'll put the official's attire away. Up we go. What a lovely view. Divine Tower of East Altus. Let me in. Nothing even purported below. Actually, that's a bit interesting. That glow down there. Don't suppose we'll have any occasion to examine it, but interesting nevertheless. It's always cool to see the attention to detail put into areas like this where it's like, you know, obviously the surroundings are placed just so, but tilting, you know, positioning just a couple of degrees one way or another can make for a much cooler scene. It's neat. Nothing particularly exciting around the edges. Fair enough. Out we go. That's the foggy, ash-covered lands. Once again, 2 fingers. Under Grace. Left unattended. 2. Hello? 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 Sounding like a broken record with that. But, like, excuse me. Morgott and Mohgs. Divine Tower of East Altus. I wasn't expecting both of these to be here because I did not check both of them. But I guess they are both here. I suppose that's why there were 2 mobs below. Morgott's Great Rune restored. Mohg, the Blood Ones. Great Rune restored. Spooky. Grants a blessing of blood to phantoms. A great rune of the Shard Bearer Mohg. Its blessing grants a blessing of blood to summon phantoms, and imparts a phantom great rune upon successful invasion. Mohg and Morgott are twin brothers, and their great runes are naturally similar, but Mohg's rune is soaked in accursed blood, from his devout love for the wretched mire that he was born into far below the earth. Huh. Accursed blood this, accursed blood that. Interesting. I'm gonna have to look at what a blessing of blood means, but and then this is greatly raises maximum HP. A great rune of the Shard Bearer Morgott. Its blessing greatly raises maximum HP. This great rune is the anchor ring that houses the base and proves 2 things. That the Omen King was born of the golden lineage, and that he was indeed the Lord of Leyndell. Huh. You see, you'd think that, but upon reading the description, it's, Morgott's Great Rune is, raises maximum HP, special items, blah blah blah. The notes. Look at the notes on this. Increases health by 25%. This multiplier gets applied after all the other health increase in buffs, equipment, and spells. Godric's Rune will provide more health if your base vigor is between 6 and 14 inclusive. So no, I cannot have more health, actually. Thus, we are in keeping with the natural balance of all things. Now, Mohg's Great Rune, please explain what this Blessing of Blood situation is. It says... I read that already. The Blessing of Blood makes it so every time those blessed by it kill an enemy, the user of the Great Rune will be healed by 10% of their maximum HP. Additionally, when anyone is overcome and inflicted with blood loss within the vicinity of a blessed individual, the blessed individuals will gain a damage buff similar to that of Lord of Blood's Exaltation for approximately 20 seconds. Oh, that's pretty nice. When invading, we are not doing that, so I don't care. Cool. It's not used for rune arcs. Stays active, requires it to be used before the invasion. Summon spirits, get the blessing, which is infinite, which is cool. It's fancy smoke, heal on kill. So that's, I guess, more useful if there's a bunch of summon additional mobs. There's the blood loss effects. There's some other stuff that can be applied. I don't think that will be particularly useful for me, but it's good to have. Do I have any others remaining? I think that was it, actually. Right? That was all that was left untended. It seems so. So the remaining... So basically, none of this is exceptionally useful for me. because my problems are not defeating mobs of enemies, and the general attribute raise has been more helpful than specifically going for any of the other stats. Well, still, we got them. I guess, and that apparently is just affecting the endgame situation. So I guess the next thing that we were planning to do before we got interrupted is either the Death Roots or go free the Dung Eater, because God knows we've freed literally everything else we've come across. And on the principle that surely adding one more player to the board can't make it worse, we might as well. We might as well. Subterranean, Shunning Grounds. I do not need to know your lore right now. Real body, Lindell. From the underground roadside, site of grace. Clearly we leave only the Dung Eater unfreed for the means. It is so tempting, because it's like, Sir, you talk about this in perhaps the most unsettling way possible. I'm going to go firstly to upgrade the Holy Fire Dagger, which is really cool. And then we will see if we really want to free the Dung Eater.
Now, let's go smithing.
'Cause, like, in character, like, obviously the tree is set on fire unavoidably. We are set on fire because we're incapable of not following mysterious instructions written on the ground when we fall into mysterious basements. That's fine. That happens. And then we are also incapable of refusing polite requests from, like, mysterious ladies, apparently. Which is how we got both whatever is going on with Ranni and also with Fia. It's like, you know, very in character, don't you know? But the Dung Eater really isn't either of those two things. As far as, you know, has been given, we're not getting any, like, it's, I'm not sure his behest in the library is really a polite request. And, it certainly wasn't a mysterious message written upon the ground. I think that is very intentional. He does not look like he would have any shit with me. He does look like he would have. Yeah. He's, a little alarming. Even more so than literally anyone else we've talked to. Except for perhaps the fellow that is now advising Nephelilu, running the shop in that vicinity, which frankly, I'm not sure how wise that is, but, that's not my problem. Summers. This is just needs all the way up to needing. Yeah, so these won't be the same. Looks like the Black Knife. In the end. Similar. The holy amount is quite different. Dex versus faith. This is getting more strength in it. But whereas I have Dex coming out my ears, I believe my faith is still quite lacking. And that's probably the difference, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so the difference isn't huge. 8 points. But it's an amount. Dung Eater, to our knowledge, is not a fair maiden, correct? Therefore, we do not listen to him. Such is the rule of Elden Ring. Not a fair maiden, or someone writing mysterious messages in front of interesting exploration mysteries. He's just some fellow loitering in the building that we often inhabit. And, you know, at least all the other fellows inhabiting the building that we often inhabit have given us slightly more assistance and reason to trust them than mysterious fellow in the library telling us ominous things about his true body and also our corpse. Not that I'm one to, you know, not say weird things about one's own corpse that one is animating at this precise moment, but still. Yes, exactly. He needs to write his instructions mysteriously upon the ground so that they cannot be properly evaluated for their intimidatingness or veracity or helpfulness. That's how this works. Okay, so I have slightly less, slightly ineffective, but slightly less on fire holy fire. Cool. Let me replace some of these pocketable goods so that I have them when I next need them. Okay, we've got some to spare. Let's make sure we have a couple of each to spare. There we go. And then of these... yeah, there we are. We can just empty our pockets completely for that. Sell me on recovering you from the basement.
Go and unshackle my corporeal flesh, trapped in this sewer jail below the capital. I can kill you and defile your corpse. Then the pox will truly be your own.
Okay, but, like, is that something I want? Like, I appreciate the sentiment, I think. But, I think we're gonna save that for next time. As much as I'm truly interested in, what happens when you literally release every single faction that asks for your help upon this poor world, insofar as a bunch of individuals spouting grand and terrifying things can each be called a faction, which I'm not sure they can be. But as deeply curious as I am, I think my sensibilities are gonna have to say maybe not for that one. So then, what does that leave us with? That is not the menu I wanted to be in. What does that leave us with? We've got the death stuff, of course. We need to investigate more of the death routes. I don't know which ones we have done already. So... I don't think I have anything else I need to really shove into my pockets. And obviously at some point I need to finish shuffling the last 5 points into int. I could switch what, equipment I'm using. Actually, yeah, my faith is probably much lower if I'm using the other... yeah, so there's quite a difference for that, effectively, but... that means if I switch talismans, I can use the Moon Sword. Next time on Dragon Ball Z, will we release this obvious bad guy, or will he continue to talk shit and find out? Literal shit. Tune in next week to find out. Yes, exactly. Okay, so... we're going another 20-30 minutes. Let us... come on, we're teleporting here. Thank you. Greetings, Elena James O. Hope you've had a good morning so far, and henceforth proceed to continue doing so, or if not, at least a general improvement on the state of things. We are currently doing some miscellaneous quests and things before eventually trying to finish up the game after, as you can see, an excessive number of episodes. But we are going to be going just another half hour or so trying to look for these death roots. Hope you are doing reasonably. Death roots. It's a night, is it? Many times ago. I do perhaps vaguely have some familiarity to you. Yeah. So I see. Some time ago. Doing relatively reasonably. It's been an eventful time, but the matters here have been going straightforwardly. I'm trying to figure out how to consolidate all these VODs into one place and all that. I might be rebroadcasting them into the main YouTube channel so that, and then eventually start to multi-stream so we can have everything all in one place, since there's still kind of in a position where that's a reasonable thing to do. But that'll be something to sort out in some time, of course. Let's see. Death roots. Okay, I have a list in front of me. We'll go checking each of those locations, but let's see if we can we talk to you without you murdering us right now? Hi. Hi. Fair enough. Understandable. Did we kill the gargoyle out front, or is it still... Signs point to us not killing the gargoyle out front. We're just gonna leave that alone for now. That's a later problem. That's a problem for not right now. Okay, so we're gonna go through this list, and we can start with chest behind the Black Knife assassin in the death-touched catacombs. I beg your humble pardon. Okay. I think... I see, okay. Death-touched catacombs. Inside. Found on a chest behind Black Knife assassin. Have we been down here? I mean, we've clearly opened the place. But have we done anything about it? No. It seems not. How exciting. I think we need a more holy weapon. We can test how well the knife works, but I'm going to be honest, I'm not sure how much I trust that. Let me see what else we have, but we might just switch to the Morning Star with holy stuff applied, because that's not... I would like these skeletons to not get back up and trouble me repeatedly in the face. Michelin Knight Sword might work. It seems fine. My only concern is how heavy is this? It's medium. Should be okay. There's a bunch of black flame stuff, but I don't think it's actually what we're looking for. Some of this I really just need to shove back into the cupboard. A lot of black flame. I think swapping the Morning Star to holy, just in case the sword does not do the job, is probably wise. So we're gonna do that real quick. But we're gonna try with the sword first, because that's obviously good. That's lightning. That's sacred. Sacred blade, sacred order. Blade projectile just makes it be holy. Okay. Okay, but we're gonna try this with the other equipment first. Either with just stabbing, or with not that. Root resin. How interesting. Yeah? Okay, okay. One test skelly. Pretty busy. I don't know about that. Interested in going through all of the things. You gonna stay dead? No. Okay. What about if we use the fancy magic? Oi, come on now. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, no, stop. We'll grab another one. That's it. It is not yet. I have not had a chance to do with that, although I must, I really must make the time. Because of course that would open up many interesting avenues, amongst which is actually learning to rig things properly. Okay, now we're trying the sword here. Checking up spoilers, found out there's a site of grace after the boss fight, but before the ending at one point. Yes, that is good to know for certain. I think I've seen a fraction of the screen after the last fight wherein there's a prompt to set everything even more on fire again. I'm not even sure what that corresponds to or how optional it is, because I didn't see anything else on the screen before I hurriedly went to look at not that. But, good to know that there is a site of grace, and presumably, once you do the ending stuff, does it just let you roam around afterward and do things like the DLC and fight the remaining bosses, after you know what ending you've got? Or, do you have to do all of that beforehand? The prompt shows up when you interact with the thing. The site of grace, so you can fuck off before poking an ending. Okay. But can we get the ending and know what's going on and then just be released to do all the other stuff? Or does it kick you into New Game Plus the moment you've done an ending? Ah. Okay, yeah, Phil definitely would appreciate, Oi. Skelly. Hello? He's dead? Okay. Hello? Okay, so the holy you put on this sword is sufficient to permakill them. Alright. That's good. That works then. Uses a bit. Nice, nice, nice. And that's a good beam, a good functional beam for this place. Hello? Okay. There's at least two of y'all. Rude. Come on. Me walking around with a big ol' arrow stuck out of my face. Where are you? Okay. Anyone else down on the bottom floor? Okay. None of that was what I wanted to do, but okay. When you get an ending, the game will prompt you to go to New Game Plus, but you can choose not to, and you will be sent to the round table hold in your current game and can run around doing... Okay. Excellent. So what that means is that it is perfectly reasonable for us to go immediately and poke the final two bosses, instead of finishing all of this side stuff if I get tired scouring the world for death roots. And then we can just go right back to it. You can't change the ending though, so assume the main content relating to endings will be locked out. I mean, if I'm not entirely... that's good to know. Although, if I'm not mistaken at the moment, most of the things which I have done to affect the ending so far, aside from obviously unlock whatever the Dung Eater is doing, I think we are... unless there's something that can be done with the unalloyed gold stuff situation, I believe we are actually at the point where most of what I have done is irrevocable. Obviously, if you know I'm incorrect, please... Hello? I see. Please let me know. Because I do remember you saying, oh, for fuck's sake. Oi. I do remember you saying before that there's... that's not what I'm trying to do. Hello? Hello? Okay, it wasn't taking input. One thing we're currently doing that can be reversed. Okay. Is it the being on fire? Because that seems like something that is reversible, or maybe, it is in fact the being on fire. Where's the other shooter guy? Come on. Heck off. Heck right off. Thank you. How do I get up there? And is there anyone else who can shoot me from up there right now? No? Excellent. You specifically being on fire, but not anyone else being on fire. I see. Not the tree. That I did get the impression that if the tree were to be made not on fire, it would be due to any number of things unrelated to my personal decisions. Being as that it seems load-bearing in the plot. But thank you for confirming the tree cannot be made not on fire at this time. Okay, so I could become less on fire. And I assume that's to do with whatever the frenzied flame stuff that people are on about. That is a boss door. I do not want to do that yet. I want to grab the goods that are on the roof. How do I grab the goods that are on the roof? Hello? Where are the goods? Give me the goods. Goods? 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 You could remove the frenzied flame from my person. I see. Goods? Goods? Hello? Am I just not supposed to get to these? Are they supposed to taunt me forever? I'd believe it, but like, are they? Are you on disc? I don't remember. Probably. Maybe. No. Yes. That's a really good question. No. Maybe. No, because Expedition 33 is on disc and is currently in my PlayStation. Good that we figured that out. I did not remember for a minute. I don't know. How am I supposed to get to that? Excuse me. I am displeased at the fact that that appears to be non-navigable. bother. Well, if we can get to it later, that'll be wonderful. I'm strongly suspecting we cannot. In fact, when you first get the flame, Melina is supposed to angrily scold you for being a silly Billy. But you did that after she lit shit on fire, so she couldn't get angry at you and imply you could reverse it. Ah. Yes, that is the sort of thing she would probably have been able to tell us about and give good advice about not being. Yes. Whoopsie daisies. Look, in my defense, she set herself and the entire place on fire. She does not have room to complain at me about that. But yes, she does have significantly more subject matter knowledge about being on fire. About specifically that kind of being on fire, probably. I am going to sit down and refresh my goods, actually, and then we'll go through that boss door. Because I don't want to deal with that. Okay, so this is either going to be a situation the Black Flames are going to be great for, or not. But we have a Holy Sword, so it's fine. And we're going to summon these two, because I don't know what kind of room this is going to be. Like, could I do all this stuff? Oh, bother. Okay, you're just gonna fight them. Okay. I see how it is. Okay. I overestimated this situation quite thoroughly. Assassin's Crimson Dagger. Great. Just melted that guy. So, I get the impression we were supposed to be here several eons ago. She gets angry because she wants to be on fire, and us being on fire prevents that. Understandable. Have fun lurking. Do feel free, although we don't have a specific, stuff for that. Deathroot. Why does it say on the chest and not in the chest? Tisk tisk wiki. But, let's see. Any other goods? A lot of root resin. Very eerie place, this. But yeah, we melted that guy. Okay, so who is the next person? I assume as we go further and further down this list, we're going to run into things more reasonable to the level that I am at. Assuming these aren't just indexed alphabetically, which could happen. Okay, Limgrave, the Tibia Mariner. I think we have killed the Tibia Mariner for this. But we're gonna... Oh. We are going to check real quick about that. Let's see. Tibia Mariner. Why, tree in Limgrave. Tree? This tree? Yes, this tree. Deathroot. Summon Water Village. Yeah, I think we have probably... I don't know if this is actually going to land us in the correct location. Hold on. Okay, fair enough. Nice. Now we want to go northeast. Yeah, I think we have fought the dude over here. Gonna check. Maybe we haven't. Excuse me? Goods. Okay. All the Black Flame Assassins ex-executioners, hence why they always death versions of the Blade of Calling. Huh. Could be. Alternatively, someone near the start of their order was like, this is a wonderful technology, let's replicate it, but in a more murderous fashion. Critical hits restore HP. Excuse me. An assassin's dagger, misshapen and stained in crimson. Critical hits restore HP. This charm is modeled after... Oh, it's a charm. This charm is modeled after the darkly gleaming blades used in the Night of Black Knives, those which gave the demigods their first taste of death. What makes crits occur? Because that could be useful, given my, what my HP is like. But it might also be completely not useful. Alright. Anyone? Anyone? Hello. Have we fought the big skellies? I think we have fought the skellies around here. As this riding around on horseback seems very familiar to a different time we were here. And trying to avoid getting shot in the face, or the back, or anything else. Okay, I'm gonna walk around to make sure we didn't miss anything when we were here last, but I do think we have sufficiently emptied this place. Dog. As they say, in the parlance of these lands. Dogs. Oh yeah, we've definitely been in here. What was even down here? A lot of dogs. This is probably where we got the normal turtle stamina charm, actually. Yeah, this is where the Ghost Ferryman was. But there have been a couple of different Ghost Ferrymen that just sort of happen in these zones. So I wasn't sure if this was one where we just, like, ran away from them and left. But considering we have not been mugged in the last minute and a half, it is looking like we did properly clear this place of, hostile undead. In large part, anyway. Actually, you know what I can look up whether or not we've addressed and whether or not we can address? There is a sorceress stuck in one of those basements. And I have no idea how to make her not be stuck in that basement. Oh, hello. That was not the sword that I thought I had in my hand. Okay, not all of the hostile undead. Just a lot of them. But also, that's not the ones that are, like, in a boat. Huh. I think that's really it, aside from everything being eerily pretty and on fire, which, you know, is a thing. Okay, so we've done that one. I think we can call that one acquired. Liurnia of the Lakes, behind the cemetery shade in the Black Knife Catacombs. Okay. What's that when it's at home, then? Black Knife Catacombs. Black Knife Catacombs. Hello. Anybody? Catacombs. Hello. Okay, I'm gonna check this on the map. Uh-huh. I see. It's never jail. No? Oh, it's okay. Come on. Hello? Hold on. How do I... Huh. I guess I did not actually go up there. I guess we will be taking a proper trip. I marked it on my map, but... Okay, so... just... north. Okay, the sword is there. Just not... in hand. It probably should be, though. Black Flame is all well and fine for most enemies, but it is convenient to be able to make skeletons stop skelly-ing. Row of fruits. Hi? Bye. Oh. No. Thanks. Thanks, I hate it. Thanks, I still hate it. Hi, peaceful jellyfish, I am so sorry. I have bothered your neighbor. That was, in fact, a very large, very angry bear of some kind, yes. I understandably would not like to Hello? 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 Hi? Are you gonna murder me and eat my organs? Or is this... Okay, you're gonna eat my organs. Got it. Look, is there, like... Hello? Am I supposed to get into a location with this? Hello? Okay. Okay. Bunch of targetable jellyfish around is a bit rude, and probably on purpose. Who keeps turning out my light? Okay, so we probably could have gotten in if we could navigate backwards, which we can't. Is your corpse just gonna glow there? Okay, you do that. That is not my responsibility. That is a you problem. I'm sorry. You do that. This is indeed my first playthrough. Welcome, Christopher Gals, perhaps? Chris, then. But yes, we are right before the last two bosses whose existence I am aware of, through approximate knowledge of many things and such forth. But I'm going around doing a bunch of errands first, and and we'll probably be working on fighting all of them next time. But, yeah, looting the extremely obnoxiously glowing armor would be a bit fun. But alas, I am indeed on console. No, come over here. I probably could have done that more gracefully. By a lot. The dungeons are a little bit samey after a point, although Hello? Good evening and good night. Alright then. Yeah, I'm willing to do things like look stuff up. Like right now we're going through a list of all the Deathroot locations, and at this point I'm not scouring the whole map for this. Hello? Any more? Just the one behind me. Great. Probably just the one behind me. Great. Rosa's axe. After we make sure nothing else is in here, let's check what that is. But yeah, definitely would be terribly frustrating for at least a couple of these when it's not immediately clear what's going on. Usher of Death, Rosas, who shows the path to the catacombs throughout the lands between, is depicted on this ritual axe. Oh! The pointing fellow, is it? The dead easily lose their way and have always been in sore need of a guiding hand. Unique skill Rosas summons. Raise the axe aloft to summon those lost in death. 3 skeletons will appear at a distance and attack in tandem before vanishing. Oh. I suppose that's a way to get things in the way. Just got this dude summoned. Did I? Did I, perhaps? Loris, Jarrite, Mimic, Lutel, Omen Killer. Got Omen Killer. No, Rolo. Omen Killer Rolo. Different looking fellow, I think. Halig Tree. There are plenty of these I haven't really used. Not a difficult thing to miss here, in fairness. Let me shovel these into this here. I'll be able to reset them. Okay, and there's some skellies. Hello. Okay, we have wild things known as holy vaults. Please and thank you. Okay, time that better. Oh, okay. I really should just back away like a person who's... Okay, there's that one. Oh, there's one on top. Not a fan of that. What? Excuse me, am I mistaken? The bolts that I'm using are holy damage. Well, that's cheap. Bother. Alright. Okay. Thank you. Stop. Hello? Okay. Anything else in here? Good to know that that door is up there. That was a little excessive. Oh, hi. Rude. That's a wall. Grave Glovewort, nice. Every time. Yeah, good to know holy bolts aren't... Oh, I hate that. Hello? I'm going to keep repeating random bits of things, and it's going to bother me for the next 3 million years. But aside from that, good gracious. What is all of this? I'm not walking near anything enough to cause it to activate anything in here. Jesus. So many mobs. Anything else? Not within eyeshot, which doesn't necessarily tell you much. Okay, there's another one in the corner. Sorry, small crab. I'm now really suspicious of random walls. So that looks like it'll be the way back after we loop all the way around. That's not really... reassuring at all. I hate this. Alright. I don't care, I don't care, I don't care, I don't care. I don't care, I don't care, I don't care. We're leaving, we're leaving, we're leaving. We will deal with this at range like a normal person. Oh god, or we won't. I am surprised I survived that with 1 HP in a dream. So... yeah, that was, okay, we cannot shoot down there normally without locking on. But it sounds like we need... oh, that's probably only gonna unlock after we defeat the crabs, isn't it? There's a cemetery shade in here, apparently. Which is at the top. I assume that we need to get past the crabs. Can we... drop anything on them? We do not have poison equipped. Why are you facing away from me? You'll suffer the crab rave before you can get the cool goods. Yeah, apparently. Okay, I need to be very ready to do whatever I'm going to do when I get to the bottom there. Oh god. Okay. I don't think this is gonna work. The automod says thing like tries to grab you when you say things that are vaguely aggressive, it sounds like, which obviously is a bit strict on what counts. Where'd it go? So my next thought is bombs. Do I have any left over, or do I have to make more? I'm gonna go with make more. Throw behind. We don't have a lot of string, but we can at least try one of those. Because I know there are ways to get weird damage angles. Hello? But I've got to lure it up here. Yeah, the first 3 words there. Hello? Stop. Jesus Christ. Hey, that worked. I do not have the health to deal with this, though. Oh shit. Okay, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die. I'm not gonna die. I am really appreciative of not dying there. We're gonna shovel this down our throat in the hopes that will keep us alive long enough to kill the other one. Where is the other one? Crab, eggs, and white flesh. Die, die, die. Okay. Thank you. The damage is never the problem. The state of my organs is always the problem. Hello? Okay. Were you alive? Well, now you're not, but also... Hello? Literally the only thing I could think of is if we have to make sure absolutely none of the crabs are remaining, but... Hello? Is there a key? Is there a floor panel? Is there a fake wall? Is there a fake ceiling? Do I need to shoot this thing? Well... See, that's why I was sort of looking around in there, but it doesn't... That is not the button I wanted. Thank you for my limited MP. It doesn't look like there's any other point that I can see in there unless... No... It's a drop down from the ceiling. Are you kidding me? How do we get in? How? The hell is this? Speaking of asinine puzzles. Yeah, I see that. Oh, wait. I see it. I see it. I've done this before. Fuck off. I totally did not check the spacing for this beforehand, because I have done that before. Okay, well, no one else is shooting at me besides you. I could have timed that better. Do I have anything in my pockets that will heal my... Yes, actually. I will take it. But I need to not do that by accident. Forsooth. Oh, some of the sparks coming in through the roof. Neat. Excuse me? Oh, were you a summon? Interesting. Okay. Are any of you guys gonna come to life and eat my soul? That would be totally on brand, so... Just one? Just one visible. Yep, there's the second one. Anyone else? Any other comedians? What the shit? I did not expect there to be another comedian. Why is there another boss door in this building? There's... Excuse me. Okay, let's deal with this shit first. Anything else alive in here? No? Wonderful. Or undead. I stand corrected. Repeatedly. And frequently. Anyone else? Thank you. Repeatedly and frequently. Anyone else in this section of building that I need to punch in the face? No? Great. What are we thinking? So I'm actually thinking, since I have used up literally everything in my pockets, except for like one flask, that the thing to do is actually, go back to the site of grace, and then just retraverse this whole area. Insofar as much of it there is, because obviously there's not that much. And I want to fight the weird extra whoever is down in the corner. Thank you. Yeah. Exactly. Okay, we have summons meant for a small room. And we have one holy sword, and we have one... Not that. We should keep the holy sword on, when we go through. Okay. For that, we don't need to use ranged sword powers. Hello. Okay, that was a little exciting. Excuse me. Okay. Okay. Okay, no one else up top anyway. That was not a safe place to stand. I don't know why I did that. Right. Do not summon anything else. Please and thank you. Way too exciting. What the hell? Okay. I see how it is. No summon for me. Okay, that was a little exciting. Assassin Cerulean Dagger and Black Knife print. Good that this was something I could do without a summon, because this room was too goddamn small for that kind of fight. Okay, what was all that? That is not the right menu. Mark of the Night of Black Knives Ritual. On the night of the Black Knives, someone stole a fragment of death from Malekith, the Black Blade, and imbued its power into the assassin's daggers. This mark is evidence of the ritual and hides the truth of the conspiracy. The hell does that mean? I'll look, I guess? Critical hits restore FP instead of HP. An Assassin's Dagger, misshapen and stained in cerulean. Critical hits restore FP. This charm is modeled after the darkly gleaming blades used in the Night of Black Knives, those which gave the demigods their first taste of death. Cool. Wait. No, okay, no, sorry. My brain was like, wait, weren't we supposed to get a death root thing? Oh, I hate the fact that you're back. Goodbye. It is the other boss that is near the entrance that will give us that. Alright. And that we should probably be able to do summons for, I hope. Please. What under Christ? That works. Symmetry Shade. Really weak to being set on Holy. Twin Sage Sorcerer Ashes. Well, that went well. Ish. Check what that is after we pick up the Death Root. Thank you. Yay for using elemental advantages. Summons Twin Sage Sorcerer Spirit. Ashen remains in which spirits yet dwell, used to summon the spirit of a Twin Sage Sorcerer. Spirit of a Rea Lucaria Sorcerer wearing a stone crown. Those who study the Twin Sage Conspectus are the Academy's elite, capable of mastering the Glintstone, Comet Shard, and Crystal Burst sorceries. Wonderful. I'll keep that in mind. Backstabs and riposts are criticals. Got it. I don't do enough of those for it to be worthwhile, unfortunately. The next one is East Liurnia of the Lakes. I hate the fact that that guy is literally right there. East Liurnia of the Lakes. East Liurnia of the Lakes. East... I know there was some fellow around. Good to know that everyone's still gathered over there. Around up here somewhere. But I don't know if... That's what we're looking for. That's what we have maps for. I'm gonna navigate to this upcoming place so we know where we are, and then probably call it, unless it's something very evident. Okay. Oh, alright. That's Jarburg, though. Okay. So it's not... I would like the ads to stop doing whatever that was. So it's not on top of a dot, it's just around here. Which is where I remember it being. So, I don't remember if we actually fought whatever it was, though. Also, it does occur to me that I can unmark this. Because we fought it, and it's dead. How wonderful. This whole place, though. Some of you still alive. which is good. But some of you's not still alive. Oh dear. Alright. Up top then. How did we get back up there? Could have sworn it was a wind thing. Nope. We got down here via the steps, which means Artist Shack is actually the closest. Alright, we go south from here to see what there is to see. Piles of pale beasts. Yeah, a bunch of undead, but not... It says there's a Tibia Mariner, I think. Yeah. I sense a lack of Tibia Mariner. So I think this must be one of the ones we already got. Anything? No. Just, fair enough. Just making... Hello? That's a crab. Alright, you go on with that business. That's not what I was looking for. Alright, no Tibia Mariner. Means this is definitely the one we already did. I think we got the one at Wyndham Ruins as well. Ooh, the Red Wolf of the Champion, I'm not sure though. Wyndham Ruins to the north. Okay, let's just sit this down. We shall come back to that. Love it when my entire internet gets bizarre. Hello? That shall be all for tonight, dear listeners. Okay, that was weird. Thank you for tuning in. No raid for today. Some of the VODs are up on YouTube. More of them will probably be put there when I get that sorted out at some point. Links are found below. The singing practice channel is linked from the main channel, but I keep forgetting to add it below. I'll get to that eventually. In the meanwhile, if we can get back to the page that's relatively normal. There we go. In the meanwhile, until next time, do take care, travel safe, don't fall over, and remember that you are precious, each and every one of you, unique in all the world, and therefore irreplaceable. So, rest well, dear listeners, and good night.